No. Gully Gang is still fam. You know, Stunner and Samohit are on the album. You know, Divine is still the big bro.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this amazing podcast. Iska naam hai Off Air with Jman, and finally, after so many years, I get to have the main man. क्या बोलूं bro? मतलब बहुत सारा चीज सोचा था लेकिन अभी याद नहीं आ रहा है. But बीच में बोलूंगा. The one and only Shah Rule, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
What's up, bro? I mean,
I feel like we've always said, "Oh, you need to come to the podcast. Yeah. And I was like, "Yo, I'm there." And then I was like,
"No, you're busy traveling, and I understand, man. Yeah. I mean, it's been great." So, what's up, man? What's your day look like now?
Just chilling with Jman, man. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Man, so let's just talk about life, bro. How has life been? And you know, for me, I think it's been this year has been like, you know, decently well. Like I've not wasted time. But I've been doing like whatever.
Yeah.
So how has it been for you, bro?
Yeah, like you said, not wasting time. Yeah, I think I made like a lot of transformation. Like I made a big transformation in my life that kind of put me in a place where I had to take a lot of risks and, you know, face, you know, the journey that I'm on now.
Right.
And I can look back at the last 6 months and see so much change, and I'm like, wow, like 9 months ago I was a totally different person.
Right.
And I needed to go through certain things and take certain help from certain people, build those support systems, like kind of step out of my comfort zone and reach out to more people, which a year ago I was definitely not.
So what was stopping you then, man?
I think I was in my own head for the last 4 years. I got too comfortable in certain situations, work and personal life, where I got lazy, and I also kind of I was my own enemy,
right?
You know.
Was that one thing when, you know, obviously when you're like, was it getting into depression or like, you know?
Yeah, it was fully there. And I think I wasn't,
because things were not working.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things, right? The lockdown kind of gave everyone this false reality of things aren't going well, right? I mean, everything kind of halted for everyone, and you were stuck sitting at home. But at the same time, you know, for us creatives, we weren't able to go out with a camera and just, like nowadays, Sari Rate, the video I just dropped, I just said, yo, Samohit, we're shooting a video tomorrow.
Wow.
We're taking a camera and we're just shooting it, like no extra stuff. We're going to shoot in studio, in a tattoo studio, like we couldn't do that, you know, for a good year and a half at least.
Right.
Or without taking permissions and this and all that, or even gigs, right? Like the first few gigs after that was so, you know, it was a little uncomfortable or whatever. But at the same time, I think that as a creative, when you're constantly, that is your everything, right? You wake up breathing that. Having the restrictions of that, I think, got on everyone. And also at the same time, because brands and money wasn't coming in as quick as it was,
right?
You know, and 2019, the end of 2019 was such a big year for hip hop. You know, I mean, for Indian hip hop, like with Gully Boy, with a lot of things. MTV Hustle had started. Divine's first album had just dropped. You know, there was so much going on, and I remember everything just stopped. Right, so I think also having to wait for a lot of things. Like I had my first EP ready, like first wave of the lockdown, and you know, having to wait and all those things, and there was a lot of factors, but those things play on your mind. Plus, at the same time, dealing with certain relationships is also playing on your mind. You know, at some point I had pneumonia and I was in the hospital, so that also, having that cabin fever, sitting in 3 weeks in the hospital, played extra on my mind, and this, and so there was a lot of things, but mainly to do with like a personal relationship that turned very toxic. And because I was so stuck in it and I could not see a way out, and all I was doing was internalizing all the feelings I was having about it. There was only one person I could speak to, and it was her. And I was hiding so many things and having to, you know, deal with it internally, but I think I wasn't even dealing with it. Like once in a while I would make a song about it, feel okay for a second, but then I'm like, oh, I'm never putting this out. I'm never putting this out. This is just for me or whatever. So, and again, you know, being stuck in your home and stuff, but obviously, you know, I feel super blessed that, you know, we were stuck at home in a, you know, safe space or whatever like that. There was a lot of people who had even more horrible, you know, conditions for that lockdown. But in general, where I was at the end of last year was, I remember last year during the summer, I was introduced to therapy, but I didn't like the, you know, the way it was. I did all the tests, you know, the ink blot tests and all those things to figure out what is really wrong. And that gave me more clarity. And I am a very practical person, so even they were like, you know, we don't think you need medication and stuff like that.
Thank God, bro.
But you need more kind of rational thinking and this weekly outlet of you know, of emotions and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think I took that in stride, but I didn't continue with it for 6 months because I was also, you know, dealing with, okay, where do I want to take my career now with my music? I was planning an album, but it became like a science project and it became too like technical.
That album has been like, I mean, I would really say, I think it's one of the best albums.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to stream, I think it's one of the best albums. Bro, it's a different side of you.
Yeah.
And
definitely. Thank you, man.
Where you are like out there and telling your story, bro.
For sure.
You didn't want to say those 3 words, but you like.
You
know, you said it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, see, I relate to it so much because, you know, because I told you that, you know, alcohol had taken a toll in my life. And then, and, you know, I had to like decide. And then, I had this preconceived notion about therapy that, okay, it is going to be someone who's going to be blabbering and, you know. But it was completely
opposite.
different. And then I realized that, okay, when I have things like shitty thoughts in my mind, if I go internal inside me, and then I get much more clarity. So that started happening, and then the first realization is like, you know, when I lost my mom. Those rituals. If you're a South Indian, then you know you have to do these 13-day rituals.
Of course.
Pain in the ass, bro. On the 8th day, I realized that I'm not praying to any god. I'm not praying to any deity. I'm praying to the universe. So that's where the whole thing about, you know, believing in the universe reaffirmed itself. So then I started believing in the universe, and I was like, okay, this is what it is. So yeah, man, I feel you. But this is the creative way to let your emotions out is just amazing, bro. Because you have 2 sides. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. What a track.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. You want to say something about it?
I think so. Actually, a year ago, I had a whole album which was in that whole 2-side zone, which was a full Jman album where every topic I was talking about had 2 sides to it. Money had 2 sides to it, where money is the root of all evil, but it also helps you with all your problems and takes care of life. And then love being, you know, you wanting to hear love, but then also at the same time, there's like this lust side of it, which gets, you know, really crazy and stuff. So that became like a science project for me. And then at some point, I said, you know, I'm just going to live my life. I was also dealing with a lot of personal stuff. So I took some time just to kind of, you know, I think as artists, you can't force any of these emotions or thoughts. You have to just go with the flow. I've actually, like in the last few weeks, I've not really sat in a studio, but then sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll just like have to write a few lines because in that moment, I'm finding some magic that is coming from a honest place, and I'm like, okay, this right now might work out in a month's time when I'm sitting on some beats, and it might turn into something. So I think I just said, you know, stop like forcing yourself to make an album.
Absolutely.
And I think you know, sometimes the artists in the West have the luxury of these. At least the big artists, what they do, like I love what Kanye does. He always does these camps, right? Where it's like specifically for his album, he'll go to Hawaii and take like 20 of the best producers, artists, writers, and for like 3 months, they have a schedule. Wake up, work out, go have breakfast, talk about what you did the night before, get into the studio by the afternoon, and you're there till like 4 in the morning, and you wake up and do it all over again.
Wow.
And because you're in a new place, new ideas are brewing, there's rules about in the studio, no phones, no this. You have to, for a certain album, I think it was Dark Fantasy, everyone had to wear tuxedos in the, in the studio. You know, so like just little things like that change the environment you're in that bring out more, you know, ideas. Now I have my studio in my bed, in my bedroom, not in my bed. But, that's also where the magic happens. But yeah, but I'm saying my studio is right next to my bed.
I've seen Altaf.
Yeah,
I've seen
a lot of them have you know blessed the mic in my room, and all my entire album was done in my room. Wow. Like a lot of the features obviously were sent from, you know, different studios.
I would really like to ask you, who mixed and mastered it, bro?
I mixed the whole album.
What?
And in fact, I mixed the whole thing because I got, you know, I've been working out of that room for 8 years.
Right.
It was because I was doing so much business wise and this around the whole album, creatively, directing, editing the videos, everything like that. I decided to mix the whole album from my living room. From headphones, you know, I did 80% on headphones, and then I would keep going inside to check on the speakers.
Wow.
But I needed like a different space, like just to sit in a different spot and mix helped me a lot. I would go to Soho House, sit there the whole day, sit next to the bar, set up my studio, bring my little SSL, be on my headphones, and I would mix because for me, I mean, at this point, I know what sound I want.
Right.
I was blessed to work with really great producers who supply me the right sounds that, you know, I got to do my thing and just balance everything out. And vocally, that's where I'm a nerd in that. So
So it's also like, you know, allowing Akash to also subtly put
that was my idea.
That's crazy.
He would have had it probably in the beginning. But I said, you know, in the video, what I want to do is
get him
in in a very cool way. I don't want to give away the video idea, but he's gonna make a nice cameo.
I think he should. I think someone should like. I don't know, man. This is just a thought that you know that when that verse ends and you know it's like Akash, some auntie is like coming and he's chilling or he's sitting or something like that, man. That's crazy.
So actually, I mean, I have like a medical, because it's The Cure and there's a lot of medical. So there's a medical team planned.
Okay.
I just wanted him to maybe like, there's like a scene where we're in the operating room and then suddenly someone puts down the mask and it's Akash ka hai. I had that plan. So let's see. Hopefully.
Wow,
I'm just trying to get the budgets ready, you know.
Wow.
So
man, it's crazy. So what's your schedule in terms of like touring with Gully Gang like?
So I'm actually independent now. So I'm building my own team. I've put together a little team right now for me.
Is there was that a reason to
No. Gully Gang is still fam. You know, Stunner and Samohit are on the album. Divine is still the big bro, and we've done so much. I feel like I've played a small role in this insane movement that he has, and super grateful for that. And the whole team, even from the business standpoint and the creative standpoint, super grateful to be a part of that movement of the last 4 years.
Right.
And, we're still working together, in that sense. But I think as an artist, at some point, you want to take it to the next level, right?
Right.
The same way Divine had to kind of move from Sony, from his initial years and go do his own thing. Right. I just feel like as an artist, you want to go take your vision and sometimes you have to do it on your own. You have to take that kind of leap of faith and be able to be like, look, I need to kind of just go make some mistakes and kind of try it on my own, in that sense. And they've always
that's very important for an artist.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of put yourself in a little uncomfortable space.
Correct. Out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, out of your comfort zone. That kind of, maybe you feel like your back is against the wall, and that's when you're like. That's when the inner tiger comes out and you're killing shit. So
because you always have been putting a lot of things on social media in terms of like what you exactly do. In terms of the best part about you is you put out if you're reading a book.
Yeah,
I saw a book which it was Red Hot Chili Peppers vocals.
Yeah, oof.
Man, that's crazy.
What a book. I'm not gonna act like I read a lot, and I really want to read more. I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Because I also saw Black Mamba there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So like, I think for me, like during the lockdown, I had more time. I was painting. I was doing a lot of different stuff.
You paint?
I did during the lockdown. I'm not some.
What happened?
Crazy,
are you friends with Salman Khan? I'm just kidding, bro.
He's just my neighbor. That's
Oh, really?
No, I mean he's down the road. I mean, this side he's on bandstand. So in that sense. But no. But I think, like, I think during the lockdown I was just channeling my creativity in different ways.
Right.
You know, in that sense. So painting was one of them. Reading books, and for me, I cannot read fictional books.
Right.
I need
something real.
I need something real, and I love autobiographies and biographies of musicians. I need to hear it from their words. And the Anthony Kiedis one, the Red Hot Chili Peppers one, was like, it was quite crazy because he lived in a different era, like at the 80s, where there was a lot of drugs and a lot of... But I think I can, as an artist, you want to know, I've always been studying, I've been so keen to study other people's journeys.
Right.
And understand, okay, how did they get from here to here? Like where was the turning point? And there's never really a turning point. It's like a long journey.
Right.
But kind of learning from that, like watching Kanye's documentary on Netflix was it was tough to watch.
Man,
It was so tough to watch because he's dealing with so much mentally, and there is a sickness there, there's the illness there, right? And it was sad to see the last episode, the way it was coming out in certain situations. And like, I'm a huge Kanye stan, like I'm a stan of Kanye. And like the first episode was just like, you could see the delusion of that you need to be an artist. Like walking into offices and getting, getting told no by hundreds of people, but still having that delusion and be like, no, I believe in myself. And I'm not going to stop. And, you know, as artists, we have these bad days. Like
it's always a bad day, bro. It's never a bad life. People forget.
Bars.
Keep fucking forgetting that. It's just that it didn't go well. That doesn't mean that, like...
I just got this tattoo. This too shall pass.
Of course, bro.
So, like...
My friend who's just coming for the podcast has this in Hindi.
Oh, wow.
Ye samay bhi beet jayega.
Oof. Love it.
Yeah, man. It's just absolutely believing in yourself, man. So, when the first time I ever saw you was like, I think it was Divine asking for someone, like, is there someone who can do this? And you stepped up to the game, bro. That was one time when I think it was...
101 India or something, right?
Right.
Bro, you know what's so funny about that? Like, my music video, Confident, at the end of it, you see me like kind of a little drunk, and I drop a glass, and Proof goes, "Rule, you good?" And then I grabbed the mic and I started rapping. And someone reminded me, I've seen Shah do this in a club. And actually, it was Bobcat. He was on the mic and he's like, okay, we're going to let someone from the crowd come up and do the thing. And I remember CD Moth was on the lineup, Nazy was on the lineup, Divine was on the lineup, Divine was headlining. And I remember being at the bar and hearing that. And I swear,
I can do this.
The crowd parted ways like the Red Sea. I was Moses. And I went to the stage so fast. And Bob could tell that I was drunk. Or like, Bob could tell, he could just tell that, oh man, this guy's... And I think that time, Bob didn't know me so well, but he put me on stage. And you know what he said? He's like, so what we're going to do, we're going to let him rap, but if he's shit, you boo him. If he's shit, you boo him. If he's good, you can let him know he's good. And I think those little moments early on when I moved here kind of created like a lot for me. Like I used to go to clubs and go beg the DJ for the mic. Whether it was a techno night, like I've done techno nights at Olive in Bandra where I've rapped over techno beats because it's just double time. You know what I mean? Or I'd go halftime or whatever it was. I would just find a way because... And every morning I would wake up and be like, oh my God, I performed at Olive. Oh my God, I performed at... So, like it was a thing for me that I just wanted to be out there everywhere because 2015, there weren't as many rap shows.
Absolutely.
There wasn't like a Spotify Rap 91, thing. There wasn't.
You hosted that, right?
Yeah, I did host that.
Man, how was that?
It was fun. It was fun. It was good because I felt like the whole community was there, under one roof.
Right.
You do go to festivals where there's lots of different artists,
right?
But it's not the whole community in one roof. So there was there was guys who were more mainstream, the King, MUA, everyone was there, and Rajakumari.
You and Raja also share a great bond.
Because, we do.
Because when the one time I had spoken to her, and you both could relate to each other in a way,
100%.
Because you guys came from there.
Yeah, we grew up. Similar upbringings, and even in a sense that just as songwriters, we get excited about certain things like harmonies and layering, vocals and stuff. So just from like the art form point of view, it's nice to write with people who think more melodically in that sense. So I've got a lot of love and respect for her, and
she's done a track in Jawan, right?
She has.
And I was like that. I told my friends that that's Raja Kumar.
Yeah. And even our last song, The Dawn, we ended it with Bandit Dawn King Khan. So when she got that, I was like, that's manifestation right there. Right. we totally manifested that.
But for like you've done gigs, you've been like has there been a point where you're like, this crowd is not my crowd, maybe like
all the time, and I love that.
So have you faced like this thing that because you're better in your craft, and there are other rappers who are there but they are not as better as you, so have you faced that friction that what I'm talking about?
You know what? I think if you focus on those things, then you'll always find that I would never even say like I'm very hungry in the sense that if I always feel like I'm the best, and but that's not from a very cocky standpoint. It's like if you're in hip hop, you should only feel like you're the best,
right?
Like hip hop is the only place where you have to feel like you're the best, because you can't be like, I'm mediocre or whatever like that. Nah, like this is a place where people like, even if you're not beefing with anyone, every time you put out a track, you're putting out, you're like we're not projecting anything else besides our own values and our own thoughts, right? So it's not to necessarily say that my story is better than yours.
Right.
It's how I'm saying it, how I'm able to put out my thoughts is cooler and in the most technical way possible. I'm putting it out there, or in the most melodic way possible, or whatever it is.
So it goes like forward and backward. What's up?
Yeah. Just little things like that.
Mujhko bata de what's up. I really like that word. Forward, backward. Yeah.
Like I don't ever want to compete in the sense of with another Hindi rapper I'm never gonna claim that I'm the best Hindi rapper, but like in general, like if you just want to compare in terms of lyricality and putting imagery out there through words. not just similes, but metaphors and alliterations and hyperboles and all these literary devices which you learn in school where you didn't really give a fuck about it. But today I'm like, oh shit, that's a crazy alliteration. Like I love little things like that where
and you also used your name like मैं राहुल but तू मेरी अंजलि.
Even the Tina people don't get the Tina like you're dead to me तू मेरी थी ना, which is Tina because she's dead in the beginning of the movie, right? So that's like
it's a great wordplay, bro.
I think I mean at the end of the day, even the most commercial songs I do, I want that cheeky lyricality to it because if we're I know I have a little bit of a handicap with English. You always remind me whenever we get on radio, you're like, put some more Hindi. but for me, I know at least when I do these songs which have more Hindi on it, I'll do it in a cheeky way that like even if it doesn't like necessarily satisfy the most lyrical rapper who, how these guys can be, like our culture is very, after Gully Boy I got a lot of criticism, but I think it makes me happy that I throw in these little things.
It's a great thing that you also went on to play a character which is like it was really amazing to see that.
And people were like, oh, but if you're playing a character, why would you keep your real name? I was like, yo, I'm wearing my cap. I sold some caps after that. I want people to know my name. You know what I mean? Today, the Uber driver, I was in the Uber and he was a huge fan of Desi hip hop. We were talking about Gully Boy.
Wow.
And he was telling me, he's like, Javed Akhtar's influence on the poems and stuff brought like a whole Urdu side to it as well. As well as the street culture as well. So, it's crazy to think, like, I think we have imposter syndromes sometimes where we don't realize how big this is. And it's not coming from an ego standpoint that, oh, we're these huge guys. No, but like it's actually affecting the next generation and generations to come in. People are expressing themselves through this art form. And it's not just rap. It's it's singing, it's production, it's literally this. It's content creation, music videos. There's everything. This culture has so much more to it than just rap. And I think if it's giving people that power, like we're celebrating hip hop, 50 years of hip hop. It's given so much voice to the voiceless.
Absolutely.
And it's given it changed my life. Like I was a shy kid. I definitely alienated myself a lot of the time, and the reason why I talk so much about pop culture because that was that was where I would spend most of my time as a kid, like digesting pop culture, digesting hip hop culture, and watching every music video, and then going performing in front of the mirror like I'm 50 Cent, performing in front of.
Are we going?
100% we're going, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
I would love to open for 50.
Shah Rule.
What's up?
Rule or what?
Hey.
Man, that's such a great line, man. How did you come up with that?
Just, obviously.
Are you wearing a t-shirt?
Yeah. But just on the sense of growing up all over the world, and the word rule has such a negative connotation to it in India because of the British rule, right?
Oh.
So I always, when I came here, I was like, when I came up with a name, and the plan was to have this royal look to it because of the Shah and the Rule, those words. And I just thought, let's make when I moved here, a close friend told me, treat yourself start thinking like you're a brand. Think of 4-5 brand value words, which I've ended up teaching to a lot of students when I did front row courses with Gully Gang and stuff. Think of 4 words, adjective words, descriptive words that describe your brand. So one of them was motivational. And I always said, I've always been a motivational person to my friends and just people around me, my family. But I say, even with my music, there's always going to be some sort of motivational aspect to it.
Right.
Whether it's indirect or direct, maybe me working on my problems is also motivational to other people, and me seeking therapy and help might motivate someone.
Right.
But I think in the sense of rule, I didn't want it to be a negative thing of, oh, I'm conquering. Correct. But rule worldwide, whatever you do, you should do it in a larger
larger than life.
Larger than life. Don't just think your neighborhood or your city.
Right.
Go bigger
Think
than
of the
that.
world. Yeah. Man. Absolutely. Man, so your education was there. What were you like when you were Rahul, the young boy?
Yeah. I think in school I was social, but at home I was very much an introvert, and there would be neighborhoods because I was in Moscow, there would be expat neighborhoods where a lot of kids, after school, you're all hanging out with each other, playing sports.
So you good with Russian as well?
My Russian is actually better than my Hindi, which is funny. And I used to rap a little bit in Russian as well. I've not in a while, so I
man, that sounds like a great collaboration.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been thinking about it recently. There's a few musicians that I'm still in touch with over there. So
wow, man.
I'm definitely thinking about that.
Whoa.
Maybe Goa's like the mini Russia, so might as well take it there. But in general, I think those were the years where I studied music. I wouldn't say formally studied music, but just being a fan, right? Even pop culture, the weekends for me, what I would look forward to, there was this one warehouse in Russia where you would get all the pirated movies.
Right.
I never pirated movies, but I did buy it. But I used to go buy whatever would be in the theater that weekend was already pirated and there. And I would just love watching movies, you know.
So you never burned discs?
Never, but
bro.
I mean, I think everyone did. Everyone did. You know.
It's like getting one CD and like burning it and then.
No, it was so much fun. It was really a lot of fun. And
it was not for sale though.
No, it was just for your homies
friends,
or whatever.
Hey, meko burn karke dena, bro. Just get this for me.
No, but even like Moscow, it's the biggest city in Europe. Like Moscow's part of Europe, but like going to and from school was the longest journey every day. It was like an hour and a half with traffic. So the Eminem show was my,
go-to.
That was my go-to. Even my sister, like I learned a lot of music from her. She showed me Kanye West.
Wow.
She would be like, oh, there's this guy called Kanye West. and we would listen to like Gold Digger and all these songs. And we listened to everything, like, punk rock. We had a big rock phase.
Right.
Blink 182 and all these different bands, So...
what was that one rock band you got really stuck
System of a Down.
Oh.
System of a Down was my shit, and they still is, still is.
Okay, I know this. The great thing about this vocalist of System of a Down.
Serge, Serge Tankin. I'm sorry, his last name.
Yeah, so he also learned opera.
Yeah, he did.
So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane. He's such a beautiful voice, and even in the sense that the guitarist, I'm forgetting his name, but both of their vocals are so, like, what I liked about them was they blended really sweet melodies and great writing, which had also political awareness in there and, politically driven, but with, like, crazy hardcore metal, like, really good, like, the production was insane. And I think in the 2000s, they really, like, ran shit, like, for a good, like, and their songs sounded really commercial as well. Like, but at the same time, they had this darker side and more, and there was a lot of humor in their songs as well, which I really liked as well. So, that's definitely a band I liked. Blink 180, like, I had a whole punk phase as well, like Blink 182 and Good Charlotte and all these other.
Okay, so for the first time when I think rock was introduced, I was listening to like boy bands, like, and then my friend just gives me a cassette of Nirvana, Nevermind. And I was like, okay, and I'm trying to lead. So they had this lyric book inside. So it's like my mosquito, my libido, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that, bro? And I'm like trying to understand all of that, and then I went to this crazy ass fest. It used to happen, and it just happened last year also, but the initial days were crazy. So it was the Independence Rock Fest.
Okay.
So Xavier's College had one of the prom nights, and the next day was this. So these are the two things which, as a college guy, you should go. And then I saw these bands coming up and playing covers
of
But then, after some time, some years, Vishal Dadlani was the first guy who said, like, listen, I will play a cover song or two, but
you'll hear my music.
I am not going to only play covers. You have to listen to my original music.
Love it.
And I was like, man, that's some... But at that time, I was like, I've heard so much music. I want to listen to what I have like heard. That all that happened, and man, that scene was crazy. But I think they're trying to revive it. Have you heard this band called Bloody Wood?
Yeah, dude, they're killing it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Karan Kanchan was in Japan recently, and he told me he was at a show over there for them. He said they had such an like huge crowd and huge following. Which is really crazy to see that. The festival circuit outside India is really welcoming to, like, the fact that you see a Diljit Dosanjh on a Coachella stage, and the way he represented, and he was only speaking in Punjabi later on stage. So cool, like so dope, and I love that the world is becoming smaller in that sense. That music is, it's again once again losing that kind of the thing that separates us. Is not language anymore. It should never be that. And like the fact that K-pop is so big here or anywhere in the world is proof of that. So I think all the racism, which we've all faced racism. Even in our country, we face so much of it, and a lot of a lot of horrible stuff. But I think globally, that shouldn't stop our music from, reaching every audience. I got a message the other day from a Japanese fan, which was, and I asked, how did you find my music? And they're like, oh, just on Apple Music, I found it somehow, and I really like this song. And she asked me, she's like, are you from India? And I said, yeah. She's like, your music doesn't sound like it's from India. And I said, I really appreciate that. And she's like, and she was like, I hope you do a show in Japan.
Wow, man.
Which is crazy that, even like for Desi hip hop, we have so many people reacting to our music around the world.
Right.
Like I've become friends with one of the reaction channels. He lives in the UK, but he's from sorry, I can't remember. He's from somewhere in Eastern Europe, but he's like a hip hop fan. He's also an Arsenal fan, so I ended up becoming friends with him as well.
Nice.
Shut up, parked up anywhere, and and. In general, like I've seen random people who don't even speak English, and they're in Spain and they're reacting to Desi hip hop videos, and they're enjoying it because they feel the vibe, and hip hop has always been that sense of storytelling, and I think people can already just feel the vibe of someone telling their story, and our videos are getting better every day.
I got that vibe.
That vibe, it. And I think as long as the intention translates to the viewer, it doesn't necessarily mean that every line they have to resonate with or agree with. I think as rappers, we get so pissed off, like, oh, why isn't everyone understanding my audience? It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Right.
The reason,
but it is very difficult to digest.
Of course, and it's not for people who want light listening. I think there is parts of Desi hip hop which is there for that. Like a lot of people don't look at King as someone who contributes so much, but I think he does, because at the end of the day, he is making urban related music, like whatever we're doing in this country in terms of rap music is not 100% original. It's maybe like 10 to 20% original because of the language. Right. But all the sounds and stuff, and all that has been done before. Yeah. It's all been done before, and there's honestly nothing original on this planet. It's just there's new stuff coming out in forms of inspired content, right? And inspired vibes or whatever. Right. So pay respect to where it's come from. Right. Hip hop just turned 50. Pay respect. Go research. Who are the guys who pioneered this for us? Where it comes from? Why it's there? And respect it. And I think we need those voices which are gonna push certain boundaries for us, whether it's charting on a billboard or whatever like that. But at the same time,
you had a billboard. Did you get one?
No. I'm saying on a chart, like a billboard charts, like in terms of in that sense, or on Spotify charts, being globally on a Spotify chart, whatever it is. But I think the US has its pit bulls and its flow riders and all those type of guys. Right. I think there's space for everything. Absolutely. There's space for everything. There are underground rappers in every scene. There are hardcore rappers. There are more commercial rappers.
There are YouTube rappers.
Yeah, there's everything. There's everything, and I think everyone can eat.
Right.
Everyone can eat.
Right. But it's. I tell you what I feel in this scene, in the hip hop scene. It's more like when there is a conversation. Like you have to speak, I listen. When I have to speak, you listen. Yeah. That doesn't translate for me somehow. Yeah. Then it's only like talking, like great. Like, bro, you need to understand one thing. You got great vibes. You got amazing. You have a story to say. But if the song is not produced properly, if it's not sounding great, it's not mixed mastered properly, then it's not worth it. Yeah. Yeah, man. So great things about production is something like which is your favorite DAW? Like what do you work on?
I use Logic. I've been using Logic since 2009. Wow. And for the longest time, I think up until the lockdown, I was using Logic 9. And it was on a laptop that was from 2011. Right. And it was crashing every day. I've got the hard drive and RAM changed tons of times. And I had to kind of let go of it and get with the times. So I use Logic Pro X, and I love it. I mean, it's like second nature for me. Like I don't record at other studios because I get fed up and I have no patience for the engineer because I can do it quicker. And literally this is how I sit.
That normally happens, right?
This is how I sit at my desk. My mic is right here in front of me. My screen is right here. And these are my hands. That's how I record. And I'm like, thinking over harmony. And I'm quick like that. Like, I think even the reason why I record at home is because I feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
And I think a studio is a place where you should feel you can be so vulnerable and make crazy voices and fun things and stuff, because I first of all, I'm a Sindhi, so thinking about that money, thinking about it's good to always have a Sindhi in your, very very business minded. But I'm always, if I know I'm on the clock, there's something inside of my mind saying, okay, I need to go quicker. Right. I don't want those, restrictions when I'm making music. When I'm making music, this is the most honest I'll ever be in my day. In that day, this is the most honest I will be. And in terms of creativity, I want to deliver, perfection. Whatever I'm channeling from God or the universe needs to be delivered in the sense that I can, fully be in that zone. So. That's why I always encourage other people, like, get a very minimal basic setup. And honestly, most of the mics that are on the market today, whether it's 5 to 10 grand or even up to 20 grand, which is even in that sense, I know not a lot of people can afford that. But in terms of what you get in a studio, those mics are 2-3 lakhs easily.
That's a Neumann mic.
Yeah, Neumann mic or whatever. There's all the other gear that comes with it, the preamps and everything. That obviously makes quality, but trust me, So Billie Eilish has been making music out of her bedroom for so long. I'm sure her equipment is really good now. But I mean, a lot of people make music out of their bedroom. And, my album was made out of my bedroom. I don't have a Neumann mic at home. I have an AKG mic. And I know how to mix really well because I've been doing it for like more than 10-15 years. But at the same time, I think if you... One thing I will always say is, if you have good music taste, you'll make good music.
Absolutely.
If you listen to a lot of good music and you know what good music is and you want to find out how someone made that sound that way, that interest will help you make your music sound better.
So I told these to a lot of people when they come to me, like, you made a song, and I listen to it. I was like, bro, it's not sounding great. It needs to be mixed, and then they get offended. They get offended, and I was like, bro, if you mix it properly, then I probably speak to the radio people and play your song there. It's gonna be brilliant for you, but it's not gonna help me in any way.
Exactly.
So then after that, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna launch. If you want to launch something, you create an idea. How you want to do it. This is what we're going to do. Do something different. There are a lot of things which even ChatGPT can give you. It's just use that.
In fact, even when you guys, someone asked me to send an NOC for the song. And I just went on ChatGPT. I said, I need an NOC from me to Red FM saying that they can play my song. And it gave me, and I just had to switch out. Shout out ChatGPT. GPT. Don't take my job. Okay? Just do not take my job.
No, man, that will never happen. I think people are going to use it, but to a certain level where only, okay, this is what I want it for, and then this part rest.
It's a tool. It's such a great tool, and I think even I was watching. I'm a big fan of Tanmay. And I love all his ads and stuff. Like, every ad he does is so genius. And I think he did something where they're in a room trying to think of ideas for his next ad, and they put it all into ChatGPT, and they were able to see, like, instead of making their own brief, the brief was made for them in AI. Like, it was showing like actual characters doing the thing. So I think if it helps people, even now, that actually gives me a lot of ideas for. When I plan music videos.
I think for every artist.
Visually, you can, come up with so much just from that assistance.
Yeah, man. I think it has opened a lot of doors. Well, man, I mean, it's also about, like, first thing is mixing, mastering, and then having an idea how to promote your song. So I tell everybody that use radio as a medium for sustenance.
For sure. It's
not gonna launch you. It's used for sustenance.
Definitely.
So I mean, that's what exactly what you did, man.
I think I totally agree with that. Like, I've been blessed that Fever, Red FM, Fever, even the BBC Asian network in the UK, they've been very supportive. But at the same time, our generation uses radio way less than how popular it was a decade or even just in general. You know of these drive time shows and stuff because people are stuck in traffic and they listen to radio. But our generation is constantly with their Bluetooth on and Apple Music, YouTube, whatever, it's all there. So that's your main medium. That's your main platform, right? But shout out to you who's been you've been one of those voices who stood for hip hop in the radio world, and in general, I know that you put on for independent artists, which is very important. That every radio platform will obviously jump on every trend and push Bollywood because that is the money maker and the heart and soul of India, but talent is all around us, and it needs to be showcased and given a platform. And shout out to you, for even having me on this podcast.
Much love.
I appreciate that we finally got to do this. And it was a good conversation. It was a great conversation. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man. A lot of love to you, bro. You wanna say what do you wanna say about your album? Please go and I would say it. I'd like to say
please go for it, bro.
Please go and stream his album. I'll call you right back. I'm in therapy.
Yes, sir.
It's a different vibe of Shah Rule. There is Lisa Mishra, there is Raga, there are so many other artists, you'll be surprised. And Bharg singing, bro. That was like...
No, but it's not a... Like, the name might scare people or...
shout out to Samohit, bro.
Yeah, Samohit. Lot of amazing Stunner Beats, all the amazing producers on there, Zero Chill. Yeah. But I think it's not an album that is preachy in any way.
No.
It's my journey delivered in, this starts being very toxic and it ends in a very healed way. At least as much as I can. No one's perfect and I'm still working on myself, still in therapy. And just in general, an album is something that represents where an artist is at that moment. So I had to be vulnerable in this time where I'm working on myself. It's just a nod to the people who've supported me thus far, saying I'm working on myself and the next chapter will be more. Even though me being vulnerable is also me showing that I have confidence to do that. It's the first time I've really been so vulnerable on my music. And for me, people know me as a guy for hooks and doing a lot of singles. But there's not much I can say in a few lines.
Confident.
There's not much I can say in these hooks that, I was able to also do that with the collabs because I want to give different perspectives. It's not a song like 3 Words, which is about, Dorwin John who can deliver that in Hindi and give, the rest of the, the Hindi listener that feeling. And even, we set out an objective not to say the words, I love you, but, he was able to use Love Zone and, that's a cheeky thing of Love Zone. Little things like that where we can do little word plays in Hindi and English is something that excites me as a songwriter. So I think I'm happy, I was able to...
stream it, bro.
Go stream, call you right back, I'm in therapy. And buy the merch as well. My man.
Yo.
I did not pay him to do that. But,
So until next time, take care of yourself, bro. See you soon.
Thank you.
Keep rocking.
Same to you.
And be the way you are, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right. You can stream the podcast on all streaming platforms. This is Off Air with Jman. Thank you so much for Spooler for doing this for us. All right. Take care. And until next time, aata nahi, nantar ye to.
कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ ये है कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ इसके चक्कर में तुम भूल जाओ अपनी वाइफ बॉस का पैरा जैसे हाथों में नाइफ 9 to 5 के चक्कर में कट जाती लाइफ हर रोज गिरे तेरा दिमाग स्लाइस स्लाइस रिपोर्ट ऑन टाइम फिर भी यू आर नॉट नाइस पिचिंग करने में पीपल डोंट थिंक ट्वाइस क्या मिला बनकर तुझे वेरी वेरी नाइस अरे तो बन जाना सबकी तरह जादू जादू